Good evening. Let us now come to AS-10. What is AS-10? Accounting Standard 10 is called Property, Plant and Equipment. In short, we will call it PPE. In short, we will call it PPE. Do you know the earlier name of the standard? Earlier it was known as, okay, so please reply to my query. You are not replying to my query whether my car is PPE or inventory. Whether my car is PPE or inventory. And the same car is with Hyundai company also. So whether for Hyundai company that car is PPE or inventory. So student will have to reply fast now. So for me, AS Foundation, the car is a property, plant and equipment. But for Hyundai company, the car will be an inventory item. For Hyundai company, the car will be an inventory item. Okay. So, how did you come to that conclusion that for a teacher, a car is PPE, but for the dealer or the manufacturer who is selling the car, it is an inventory. So, some basic concept must be understood to identify when is a given asset is inventory or property, plant and equipment. So please come to AS-10 scope paragraph. First paragraph, AS-10 deals with this standard which we are covering right now, deals with recognition of property, plant and equipment. So our topic will be when to recognize property, plant and equipment. Most importantly, on which we are going to spend a lot of time, how to calculate the cost of property, plant and equipment, when to recognize, at what amount we should recognize, and also deal with areas requiring specific accounting treatment. For example, we are going to deal with revaluation also. We are going to deal with depreciation in this chapter only. We are going to deal with disposal of PPE in this chapter only. AS-10 is made applicable to financial statement prepared on historical cost basis. So this AS-10 is applicable for historical cost based accounting. This is not very important. Ignore this line. Why this line is given? Some financial statements are based on current cost. But in India, we don't follow current cost method of accounting. In India, we follow historical cost based accounting. Now, my question is, what is property, plant and equipment? I had asked you one question whether my car is a property, plant and equipment, and most of you said yes. And then I asked you for Hyundai company whether the same car is a property, plant and equipment, and you said no. So property, plant and equipment are underline tangible item, are tangible item. Sir, what is tangible? Means it has having physical substance. Having physical substance. It exists. You can see, touch. Okay, you can go and see this is my car. You can touch your car. So it has a physical existence. There is another standard which is called intangible asset. There is another standard called intangible asset. There it is not physically in existence, but that will be in second group. When is an item called PPE? When they are held for, underline, use in the production, held for use in the production. So usually machine, plant, factory, building, or they are for supply of goods or services. So there are lot of asset which are useful in supply of goods or services. So my car is for providing service. I use my car to come to the classroom so that I can teach you. Okay. Then your computer. Computer provides you service. Computer helps you to do the calculations fast. Then attendance machine. In my office there is attendance machine where we take the attendance of the staff. That is also providing service. Okay. Or it can be used for rentals to other also. PPE are item either you use yourself or you give it on rent, or you can give it on rent. So you have suppose a house which you are not using, you can give it on rent. That house will be PPE. You have a car, you can give the car on rent. That car is also PPE. Or it can be used for administration purpose also, like security camera. You don't have to stand there and guard everything. Security camera you are using. Computers are used for administration purpose. Okay. Then attendance machine is used for administration purpose, and lot of other items, and are expected to be used for, underline, more than 12 months. Expected to be used for more than a period of 12 months. If it is going to be used for a period less than 12 months, then you will expense it out, you will write it off. Then there is no point in capitalization of that expenditure and providing depreciation. Okay, one more question. Is this calculator, is this calculator PPE? Is this calculator PPE? Come on, yes or no? Is this calculator PPE item? So you are thinking, what should I say? Is this calculator property, plant and equipment item? Do you believe a calculator I am using to teach you is a property, plant and equipment item? Please reply either yes or no. So I am getting multiple type answer. Yes, yes. Okay. So can you revise it? PPE are tangible item either used in production or supply of goods or service, rentals, administration purpose, and are expected to be used for more than 12 months. And are expected to be used for more than 12 months. What they have not written here, but it is implied here, not meant for, not meant for sale in, what they have not written but it implies here, not meant for sale in ordinary course of business. You can mention here. This definition given by AS-10 does not specifically write it, but it implies that these are not meant for sale in the ordinary course of business. Okay, so today I will give you one homework. What is the homework? You will write the name of 15 items of PPE in your notebook which you will see around you. So today you look around you. Look here and there in your home, in on the road, in your shop, and Note down 15 items of PPE. Yes or no? For example, in my classroom, I can see there is an air conditioner, there is fan, camera, laptop, calculator, benches, okay, and lights. There is a, this classroom itself is a PPE, mic system. So you will also do it, okay. Answer for calculator. Answer for calculator is PPE, but if the amount is not material, if the amount is not material, if, then you can write it off in the same year. If the item is not material value, then you can write it off in the same year. So mobile phone is also PPE. Next point, what is not included in AS-10? These are theory questions. Are you interested in theory question? Is building a PPE? Oh my God. Yes, building is PPE. Mobile phone is PP, calculator is PP. Unless you are a dealer in mobile phone and calculator and building. Human beings are useless creature, okay? Now you are started using your imagination. Right now in India, there is no standard on human beings. So we don't know under which classification they will go. So next paragraph number 3 is scope paragraph. Theory question for you. Where all AS-10 is not applicable. AS-10 is not applicable in the following cases. Certain specific items are specifically excluded. Biological asset related to agricultural activity. Biological asset related to agricultural activity. So example, biological asset means living animals and plants. Living animals and plants. Those which are alive, not dead. Okay. Biological assets are living animals and plants are not covered by AS-10 other than bearer plants. But if it is a bearer plant, AS-10 is applicable. Bearer plant means which produce fruits and vegetables. That is, they are themselves not sold, but the fruits and vegetables grown on them are sold. For example, mango tree. In mango tree, mango is grown and mango is sold. Mango tree is not sold. So they are called bearer plant. AS-10 is applicable to bearer plant. AS-10 is applicable to bearer plants like mango tree, guava tree, okay, where the fruit and vegetables grown are sold. Then one person is asking bonsai plant. I don't know. My knowledge on this field is very, very limited. I am not very used to agricultural activity. I get up at 5:30 in the morning, come to the class and only teach here till 9 o'clock in the evening and then go back home. So bonsai plants are, I think, not covered because they do not produce fruits and vegetables which are sold. Bonsai plants are directly sold. So if plants are directly sold as it is, then they are not bearer plants. It does not apply to produce on bearer plant. This standard is applicable to mango tree. Mango tree applicable, but the standard is not applicable to mango. Once the mango is harvested, AS-2 will apply. AS-2 will apply, and under AS-2 if you go, they are also saying that producers' inventories are not covered. So right now in India, really speaking, there is no standard which deal with the fruits and vegetable which are producers inventory. So they are usually valued at their NRV. So don't bother. Our topic is PPE. Let us not waste time on bearer plant, mango tree and mangoes. Okay. After the class you can enjoy mango if it is available. Otherwise banana is always available. Next, wasting asset. This standard does not deal with wasting asset including mineral rights, expenditure on exploration for an extraction of mineral oil, natural gas and similar non-regenerative resources. So basically mines, okay, where you do exploration for extracting oil, gas, etc. are not covered by this standard because these are special activities. This standard is applicable for general PPE item, then mining etc. becomes little special cases. So our institute has a separate guidance note for mining industry. So general standard not applicable. Any other question? What about asset given or taken on lease? The asset which are given or taken on lease, this standard is not applicable. AS-19 is applicable. AS-19 is a separate chapter, but the depreciation will be provided as per AS-10. Accounting of leased asset will not be covered by this standard, but the depreciation accounting, how to depreciate, how much to depreciate, that is done under AS-10, depreciation. This standard does not deal with asset acquired under mergers and amalgamation. AS-14 will deal with that. So this is your another chapter altogether. AS-19, AS-14, these are advanced standard. They will be covered separately. Investment property. Investment property is to be accounted for only in accordance with cost model. Cost model discussed later prescribed under AS-10. So what is investment property? Investment property means investment in land and building. Investment property means investment in land and building for earning rent, for earning rent and capital gain, for earning rent and capital gain. That is called investment property. Investment property was covered by AS-13 if you remember. However, the further accounting of investment property will be done as per cost model given in AS-10. Cost model means simply cost less depreciation less impairment. That is called cost model. In cost model, we do not revalue the item, but we can provide a depreciation and impairment. In cost model, depreciation will be provided. Depreciation will be provided. Impairment loss will be provided, but revaluation is not done. So, further treatment of investment property is covered by AS-10. Basic original accounting will be done under AS-13, but further accounting is taken care of by this standard. Now come to para 4 in your notes. Para 4, important definitions. I will only read the important ones which are relevant for this topic. Others you will read yourself. Your question was, what is biological asset? Biological asset means a living animal. Living animals means who is alive. Like you people, I assume that you are living. Okay. Animal, you are also living animal. You are also a biological asset. So AS-10 is not applicable over you. Or plant. Example, cattle, tea bushes, Then next we will see somewhere below point number D, bearer plant. This is bearer plant. Okay. Bearer, the plant which bears fruit. A bearer plant is a living plant. Living plant, it should be plant or tree, like this mango tree. Okay, you can see so many mangoes are there. You may feel like eating, but you can't help it. It is a digital mango, not a real mango. Living plant that is used in the production or supply of agricultural produce is expected to bear produce for more than one period. So it will generate fruit for more than 1 year and has a remote likelihood of being sold as agricultural produce. Tree itself is not sold. The produce on the tree is sold except for incidental scrap sale. Once its life is over, then it can be sold as a scrap sale, but otherwise they are not sold themselves. Example, orange tree grown in a plantation for producing fruit for sale. Now why I am discussing bearer plant with you? AS-10 is applicable. AS-10 is applicable for bearer plant. AS-10 is applicable for bearer plant. ठीक है? Come to next point number E, carrying amount. What is carrying amount? Carrying amount means what you call in your accounting language book value. Book value of PPE. Then your question will be, what is book value of PPE? Is the amount at which asset is recognized after deducting any accumulated depreciation and accumulated impairment loss. Let us say I purchased one asset for 1 lakh, less accumulated depreciation. Accumulated depreciation means total depreciation from the beginning till the balance sheet date is 20,000. And later also say, because the value of the asset has gone down, I have reduced the value. The reduction in the value is called impairment loss. The reduction in the value is called impairment loss. Let us assume the accumulated impairment loss is 20,000. Therefore, carrying amount is 60,000. Therefore, carrying amount is 60,000. This is how the carrying amount is calculated. This AS-10 covers accounting of depreciation also. After the amendment in AS-10, depreciation is covered by AS-10. AS-6 is withdrawn. AS-6 is withdrawn from our accounting standard. So now AS-6 is no longer applicable to you. Enjoy, dance. Okay? Dance. Everybody stand up and dance. AS-6 is not applicable. And accumulated impairment loss is covered by AS-28. AS-28 deals with impairment loss, not in the scope of our work today. And no question will be asked to you on impairment loss. Don't worry. Enjoy. One more reason for dance. Everybody stand up, dance. You don't have to read impairment loss accounting. I hope you have danced at your home. Let us come to next meaning. What is the meaning of gross carrying amount? Gross carrying amount is the of an asset is the cost or other amount substituted for cost without making any deduction for depreciation and impairment. Is it right? So gross carrying amount means cost or amount substituted for cost or amount substituted for cost or amount substituted for cost. But before deducting depreciation and before deducting impairment loss, but before deducting depreciation and before deducting impairment loss. Is it right? If you deduct depreciation and impairment loss, then we will call it carrying amount, net carrying amount. If you do not deduct depreciation and impairment, then we will call it gross carrying amount. That is the difference. Amount substituted for cost means sometimes asset may be revalued. Sometimes asset may be revalued. So that revalued amount is called amount substituted for cost. That revalued amount is called amount substituted for cost. In the first page, we have just understood some basic thing. Now the real standard begins. The first thing is, when should we recognize? When should we recognize PPE in our books? Okay, when should we recognize property, plant and equipment in our books? So I am going to ask you a question. You will reply. You have heard about CSR expenditure. Tell me, have you heard about CSR expenditure? Have you heard about CSR expenditure? If yes, then you will understand my example. Corporate social responsibility. Corporate social responsibility. Under the Companies Act 2013, companies have to spend 2% of average net profit of last 3 years on CSR activity. Is it right? Company has to spend 2% of the average net profit of last 3 years on CSR. The idea is that companies who take a lot of resources from the society should also give something back to the society. So our company, AS Foundation Limited, okay, has constructed a school building, in a remote village, which is 1800 kilometer from our office. Okay, we right now I am taking this lecture from Pune, Maharashtra, and we have constructed a school building in a remote village in Assam, maybe 2000 kilometer. Okay, my question to this batch of learned student is, will this building constructed in a remote village to satisfy CSR expenditure requirement, will it be capitalized in the books of ASF? Will it be capitalized in the books of ASF? Can we show in our balance sheet asset side school building? Yes or no? Option A, yes. Option B, no. Can this school building constructed in a remote village as a part of our CSR expenditure, can I show in my balance sheet asset side school building constructed 2 lakh rupees, small school? So most of the students are saying no. Why no? It is a asset which has more than 1 year life. Why no? Most of you have given the answer no. The answer no is right also, but you have not mentioned why. So now my next question to this batch of highly talented student is why we will not capitalize. Sanket Jain, Birender Rana, oh Rana ji, Raghuram also. Please reply. Why no? Aditya, Pawar. So, the answer is this one, A. It is printed in your book. If somebody asks you this question, then you have to see some student, her name is Usha. It says because it is in remote village, it should not be capitalized. That is not the reason. Then one student said because it is not used for production, but it can be used for rendering service. So that is also not the reason. Sonam is right. There is no future economic benefit associated with that item which will flow to the enterprise. Company, once it has constructed the school building, its job is over. Now you are not going to get any economic benefit from that asset. You are not going to get any economic benefit. Economic benefit means whether it will help you to generate revenue, whether it will help in cost saving, whether any other economic benefit will come to the enterprise. The answer is no. I am in Pune and there is a school building for primary student in Assam. Once I have done it, constructed it, I am not going to get any benefit. Of course, I will get their blessings. Okay, their parents will bless me, but that is not economic benefit. That is not economic benefit. And second condition to be satisfied is the cost of that item can be measured reliably. You should be able to measure the cost reliably. So that is easy. That should not be a problem. If you can measure the cost reliably, you can capitalize. So the condition number one, which is sometimes difficult to fulfill, and in that case, we are not going to capitalize that expenditure. Rather, we are going to charge it to P&L account. And cost should be measured reliably. Then in that case, we will capitalize the PPE. Okay. Items such as spare part, standby equipment, and service equipment are also recognized as per AS-10 when they meet the definition of PPE. When they meet the definition of PPE, what do you mean by this? Spare parts, standby equipment, and service equipment. Suppose I am taking a class right now. In this classroom, we have a projector for students who are studying live here. There is one projector which is required for the classroom, but we have one extra projector also. Extra projector. What is this extra projector for? This is a standby. Suppose this projector stops functioning. Will I shut down the class and say today there is no class? No, I am not going to do that. I am going to use this extra projector in place of the main one and I can start working. Similarly, when we have factories, we have machine which requires spare parts. Okay, then there are service equipments which are for servicing of any part of the machine. Whether these will be backup generator, yes, backup generator is also right. If this spare part, service equipment, okay, standby equipment, if they meet the definition of PPE, they meet the definition of PPE. What is PPE? Used for production or rendering of goods and service, or for administrative purpose, okay, or for rental purpose, then they will be capitalized as PPE item in the balance sheet. But if they do not meet the definition of PPE, then such spare part standby equipment will be treated as inventory, AS-2. If you go to AS-2 today's homework, you will find it was mentioned there also. If spare part meet the definition of PPE, apply AS-10. If spare parts do not meet the definition of inventory, sorry, PPE, then do not apply AS-10, apply inventory chapter. Okay. Now I am going to give you one question. Please write. Please write down one question. What is service equipment? Homework for you. Take your Google, type their service equipment, press search bar, and you will get the answer, and tomorrow you will mail me. Okay, Falak. So one student has to give me one answer. What is service equipment? Question write down. Question write down in your notebook. In your notebook, I will dictate one question to keep you awake. This question is not printed in your book. Comment on whether the following items can be recognized as PPE. Comment on whether the following items purchased by an entity can be recognized as PPE. So I am going to give you two questions. One is small spares for rupees 5,000. Small spare for rupees 5,000. And second question is standby equipment expected to be used for 3 years. Standby equipment expected to be used for 3 years. So you have to answer which item out of this 1 and 2 will be accounted under AS-10 and which item will be accounted under AS-2. So two standards are applicable to these two different inventory item. Please reply. Please reply. Okay. So I am getting the answer. First one, AS-10 is not applicable, and for second one, AS-10 is applicable. So you are right. So please note down the answer. The small spares will be charged to P&L account. Will be charged to P&L account as expense. And the standby equipment, second one, will be recognized under the heading PPE. You can write PPE in the classroom to save time. In the exam, preferably write full. In the exam, preferably write full. Sanket is right, Raghuram is right, Pawar is right. Wonderful. One more question, write down. One more question, write down. Write down one more question. Quickly write. Entity A. This question is probably in the study material of the institute. Entity a supermarket chain. Entity A supermarket chain, is renovating, quickly write down, one of its major stores. Is renovating one of its major stores. Everybody will participate. The store will have more available space. The store will have more available space in its more available space for in store promotion of outlets after the renovation after the renovation and will include a restaurant and will include a restaurant. All of you, please don't be absent. Continuously focus. Management is preparing the budget for the year. Management is preparing the budget for the year after the store reopens. After the store reopens, which includes the cost of which includes the cost of which include the cost of remodeling which include the cost of remodeling and the expectation of a 15% increase in sales, expectation of 15% increase in sales resulting from the store renovations, resulting from the store renovations, which will attract new customers, which will attract new customers, which will attract new customer. Can the entity capitalize renovation cost? Can the entity capitalize renovation cost? Can the entity capitalize renovation cost? So you have to answer yes or no. Choice before you. Yes or no. First of all, whether it will generate future economic benefit. The answer is yes. It will generate future economic benefit. Cost can be measured, and this renovation is going to generate either production or it will be useful for rendering of services, and its useful life is going to be more than 1 year. So all the parameters required for capitalization are being satisfied, and therefore we can capitalize this expenditure. So students will write the answer. The expenditure in remodeling the store remodeling the store will create future economic benefit in the form of 15% increase in sales, in the form of 15% increase in sales, and the cost of remodeling can be measured reliably, and the cost of remodeling can be measured reliably. Therefore it should be capitalized. Therefore it should be capitalized. Therefore it should be capitalized. Write the answer nicely in good handwriting. You should be able to read your own handwriting. And of course, institute should also be able to read your handwriting. Is the answer over? Say yes. Those who have completed the answer will say yes. Then I will go to next concept. Now next paragraph is unit of measure. Paragraph 7, unit of measure. Now, whether we should measure PPE for one item or more than one, can be clubbed together, or more than one can be clubbed together, or more than one can be clubbed together. So understand, suppose I have this building 1, building 2, building 3. Then this each building will become one separate item of PPE. Each building will become one separate item of PPE. So I will account for each building separately. Their cost, depreciation, impairment, revaluation will be done separately. However, let us now change the example. Suppose in my classroom there are 20 uh, lights. Okay. Similarly, we have 5 more classrooms. So 20 into 500 lights are there, bulbs, tube lights, etc. and these halogens, etc. Now tell me, should I open a separate account for each 100 bulbs or these tube lights? Should I open 100 account? Every bulb separate account. Okay, bulb 1, bulb 2, bulb 3, bulb 4. And in my whole office plus classroom and storage, we have 500 light points. Should I open 500 bulbs account? Kindly suggest. And even a simpler example, there are 500 benches here. Can I open 500 benches account? So the answer is no. Sometime what we can do, items which are small in value but in large quantity, we can merge and open only one account for it. Is it right? So that is called unit of measure. AS-10 does not prescribe a unit of measure. That is what constitutes an item of PP. For items like building, machines, cars, we can have each item as a separate unit of PPE, but for items like benches, chairs, electrical points, they can be combined together as one unit of PPE. Hence, judgment is required. Sometimes some company call the entire manufacturing plant also as one unit. The whole manufacturing plant can be also treated as one unit. So some degree of judgment is required here. Okay. It depends on value of the items also. Like as I said, the student had asked me a query whether this calculator is PPE. The answer is yes, it is PPE, but the amount is very small. The amount is immaterial. If a company's turnover is 2 crore, in front of that, a rupees 150 calculator is an immaterial amount. Whether you capitalize it or whether you charge it to P&L account will not affect the decision of the user. Therefore, the standard says don't complicate. For small value item, you can expense them in P&L account in the very first year. Okay, allowed to do that. This is on the grounds of materiality. Next is, what about the assets which are held for administrative purpose? Of course, the asset held for use or for administrative purpose will be capitalized as PPE. Asset given on rentals to other will also be capitalized as PPE. Like asset used in selling and distribution, capitalized as PPE. Asset used in finance like computers are used for calculations. Asset used for accounting personnel, whatever equipment they require, personnel, time machine, attendance machine, they are all PPE items. But now the question is items acquired for safety and environmental reasons. Item acquired for safety and environmental reason. For example, the law of the country is that you have to install a chemical handling process. If you want to get the license to start a factory, the law of the state says you need to have a pollution control process, chemical handling process. Before the water is dumped into the river, water must be first processed. The waste material must be first processed. Now, this material processing machine, chemical handling machine, they themselves are not helping us to produce goods or service or for administration or for rental. Theoretically speaking, such equipment, such asset which are for safety and environmental reasons. There is a fire extinguisher in our office also. Now, really speaking, they don't meet the definition, but the standard says exception, even such item will also be treated as property, plant and equipment item. So, item for safety like fire extinguisher, item for environmental protection, chemical handling plants, they themselves may not give future economic benefit, but their presence is required so that the company can operate, and therefore they are also PPE item. What about day-to-day servicing of the asset? Normal repairs and maintenance are expensed off. This is my classroom. Every day we incur cleaning expense. Monthly we do some repair maintenance also. Are we going to capitalize those repair, maintenance, cleaning expenses? The answer is no. They will be charged to P&L account. Treatment of replacement of parts. This is something important which if I don't tell you properly, you will not be able to understand. This is one asset, machine, PPE item. Machine, let us say it is a machine. Okay. There is a part. After some year, this part needs to be replaced because, like, suppose for example, this is a car. In a car, this tire needs to be replaced. Can I say that? Similarly, you find lot of machines like air conditioners have some part which needs to be replaced. Water purifiers have some parts which needs to be replaced. So these parts needs to be replaced, and in place of it, a new part will be added. Old part will be replaced, new part will be added. So what the standard says, calculate the carrying amount, calculate the carrying amount of replaced part and derecognize, remove it from the books. Calculate the carrying amount of the replaced part and derecognize and capitalize the cost of new part. Capitalize the cost of new part. So what I will do, I will find out on the date of replacement what is the carrying amount. The carrying amount I will deduct, and I will find out what is the cost of the new part. The cost of the new part will be added. Is it right? So that is called accounting treatment of replacement of part. Earlier what we used to do, Earlier, before AS-10 revised was issued, the life was easy. Earlier, when we will purchase a new part, the new part itself was charged to penal account. Under old method, the new part purchase was charged to penal account. Whereas now what you have to do, carrying amount of the old part will be replaced, will be removed from the book, and the cost of the new part purchased will be capitalized. Okay. It happens in many assets. If you see around you, car will continue for 25 years, but you may change the tires, you may change the stereo system. In case of aircraft, the aircraft will continue for 20 years, but those interior seats, etc., are replaced several times. Okay? If you have water purifier in your home, you will find there are some parts which are replaced after 2 or 3 years. Water purifier will continue. So, if the recognition criteria are met, recognition criteria means future economic benefit and cost can be measured reliably. Recognition criteria means future economic benefits are there, cost can be calculated reliably, then in that case an enterprise recognizes the cost of replacement part in the carrying amount of the PPE. So new part will be capitalized and the carrying amount of the old part is derecognized. The carrying amount of the replaced part is derecognized, underline. Wherever it is written, carrying amount of replaced part is derecognized. Second paragraph, last line. Another issue which is covered by the standard is now major inspection cost. What is the meaning of major inspection cost? Suppose you have aircraft, aeroplane, okay, or ship. As per the law of the country, you need to carry out their inspection once in 3 years, and it is not a minor inspection, it is a major inspection. Only then you will get the license to operate the ship or the aircraft. So what the standard says, if certain PP item requires major inspection, whether or not some parts are replaced, then even that major inspection cost will be capitalized. Even the major inspection cost will be capitalized if recognition criteria are met. An enterprise would recognize inspection cost in the carrying amount of the PPE. The remaining carrying amount of the previous inspection is derecognized. Same like replaced part. Same like replaced part. New inspection cost capitalize, new inspection cost capitalize, carrying amount of old inspection cost derecognize. So the summary of this paragraph which is on the screen is, cost of new inspection will be capitalized and the carrying amount of the old inspection cost will be derecognized. Then what I have done to make my understanding better, I will give you a question to write down on inspection cost, not printed anywhere in the institute's material. So please write down, this is an aircraft which requires regular inspection. Okay, are you ready to fly with me on this aircraft? This is my aircraft, recently purchased, okay, from Donald Trump. After he quit the presidency, I purchased this personal aircraft. So come on, write down. Those who will write correctly, I will take you on a ride. ASF ASF acquired an aircraft for rupees 15 lakh. ASF acquired an aircraft for rupees 15 lakh on 1/4/2017. On 1/4/2017. It has a life of it has a life of 15 years. It has a life of 15 years. Next line. ASF is required. ASF is required to get the aircraft inspected. To get the aircraft inspected every 3 years. To get the aircraft inspected every 3 years to check travel worthiness. To check travel worthiness. On 1/4/2017, on 1/4/17, it carried out inspection. It carried out inspection at a cost of rupees 6 lakh. It carried out inspection at a cost of rupees 6 lakh. On 1/4/2020, it incurred rupees 7,50,000 as the cost of new inspection. As the cost of new inspection. Show treatment. Show treatment. Show treatment. So I will read the problem and I will first explain it to you. ASF acquired an aircraft for 15 lakh. So we have actually two items in this: aircraft and inspection cost. Aircraft cost is 15 lakh and it is required to get the aircraft inspected every 3 years to check the travel worthiness. So on the same date when it purchased the aircraft, it carried out inspection at a cost of rupees 6 lakh. What about the life? The life is 15 year and this is 3 year only because you have to uh, do the inspection every 3 year. So what I'll do, as far as aircraft is concerned, I am going to depreciate it over 15 year. So my per annum depreciation of aircraft will be 1 lakh, but inspection cost, I have to perform inspection every 3 year. This 3 lakh over 3 year, so we will recognize 2 lakh. But what will happen after 3 years? After 3 years, again you have to incur inspection cost. After 3 years, again you have to incur inspection cost of 7,50,000. This again you will capitalize and again you will write it off over 3 years as 2,50,000 per annum. So my answer will be the aircraft will be depreciated 1 lakh rupees per annum. Inspection cost first 3 year will be 2 lakh per annum. After that for another 3 year it will be 2.5 lakh per annum. So this would be the treatment of major inspection cost. Student will write the answer neatly in the notebook. So student will write here, first write down 1/4/2017. 1/4/2017. You will write ASF Limited will recognize. I will give you the answer. This question is waiting for being asked in the exam, just waiting round the corner. Okay. ASF Limited will recognize aircraft at rupees 15 lakh and depreciate over 15 years and recognize inspection cost of rupees 6 lakh and recognize inspection cost of rupees 6 lakh and depreciate it over 3 years and depreciate it over 3 years. So this is what you are going to do on 1417. One line blank. After one line blank, then you write down 1/4/2017 to 31st March 2020 to 31st March 2020. How much depreciation you are going to charge? How much depreciation you are going to charge? As far as aircraft is concerned, 15 lakh rupees divide by 15 years, we are going to charge 1 lakh rupees. We are going to charge 1 lakh rupees. And as far as depreciation on inspection cost is concerned, 6 lakh divided by 3 years. 6 lakh divided by 3 years, 2 lakh rupees will be charged. 2 lakh rupees will be charged. So total depreciation to be charged each year, total depreciation to be charged each year for the first 3 years will be 1 lakh plus 2 lakh, 3 lakh. Will be 1 lakh plus 2 lakh is 3 lakh. If they ask you in the exam, how much depreciation will be charged in the first 3 years? So in the first 3 years, the depreciation charge would be 3 lakh rupees. Is there any query till now? Answer is not over. Wait for 2 more minutes. 2 more minutes, because I have to also tell you what will happen in the next 3 years. Up to this, everybody has done. Say yes, 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 we have done. Then I will go to next. So write down one line blank and write down 1/4/2020 to 31st March 2020. What will happen in the next 3 years? Write down depreciation charge. Depreciation charge, right hand side rupees. Depreciation on aircraft. Aircraft will continue as it is, 1 lakh rupees. Aircraft in all the 15 years, it will be 1 lakh rupees. Shoaib has done, Rajendra has done, Rohit Kumar has done, 1 lakh. Then write down depreciation on inspection cost. Everybody will say yes or no. Yes or no, louder. Depreciation on inspection cost in year number 4, 5 and 6 will be now 7,50,000 divided by 3. 7,50,000 divided by 3, come on. 2,50,000. 2,50,000. And then you write down the last line, total depreciation. Total depreciation 3,50,000. Total depreciation 3,50,000. Usha has done. Shabash. 3,50,000. Okay. So this answer is over. This answer is over. Now we'll continue tomorrow. Tomorrow I will dictate few more important questions. So don't delay, come on time. Keep your books, notebook yourself ready. Today you will revise this chapter, whatever we have covered. It will be useful for you for understanding. As I said, accounting standard 20 marks compulsory questions is asked to you, and if you do it properly, you will be able to get good marks. Okay. So see you. Bye bye. Enjoy your day.